Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Swati Kundra. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Tuesday, the 27th of October. Search operations continue in quake hit Afghanistan and Pakistan as death toll crosses 300. India and Africa can become engine of growth for world, says Finance Minister Jaitley. And India to press for custody of underworld Don Chhota Rajan from Indonesia. And for now, all the details. Search and relief operations are continuing in the earthquake-hit areas of Afghanistan and Pakistan. More than 300 lives have been lost in the 7.5 magnitude quake, and the number of casualties is expected to go up.
Rescue teams continued their search for survivors amid the rubbles of the devastating earthquake that hit the region on Monday. The most affected areas in Pakistan were Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and the federally administered tribal areas. Many residential areas have been reduced into a heap of rubble after thousands of houses were flattened. Search teams fear that many could still be trapped under the debris. Thousands of injured have been admitted to various hospitals in Peshawar. The situation was no different in neighbouring Afghanistan. Many areas of the country, including capital Kabul, were hit by the powerful earthquake. Many remote regions still remained cut off as damaged roads made it difficult for rescuers to reach. President Ashraf Ghani has urged citizens to help fellow countrymen in the time of crisis. The United Nations, United States and India have offered help to the earthquake victims in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Residents recall the moment of horror.
زلزله شد از خانه بر اومدم قطعیش کو او بچه پیش گفتم نرو پیش نرو که دیوال سر میاد گپ نگری پیش خیز کرد اومد میگه افسر زیر دیوال.
The 7.5 magnitude earthquake was felt in Pakistan, Afghanistan and parts of India. The epicenter of the quake was in the remote Hindu Kush mountains in Afghanistan. It was just a few hundred miles from the site of a 7.6 magnitude quake that struck in October 2005, killing more than 75,000 people and displacing some 3.5 million others in Pakistan-administered Kashmir.
Africa and India can become the engine of growth for the world, India's Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has said. Addressing the third India-Africa Forum meeting in New Delhi, he also called for increased trade between the two sides.
Indian Finance Minister Arun Jaitley called for greater business ties during his interaction with leaders of African countries attending the third India-Africa Forum meeting in New Delhi. He also said the partnership will help in reshaping the global economy.
Today, India and Africa are the most rapidly growing developing economies in the world. While Africa is a continent of the future, India is an emerging economy. As the global economy continues to recover slowly from the global financial and economic crisis, India and Africa together may well become the engines of growth for the entire world.
Earlier, Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj met with her counterparts from African countries. Swaraj said both India and Africa had a vital role to play in eliminating poverty and uplifting people in both the countries. She also called for greater cooperation in counter-terrorism and sought early adoption of comprehensive convention against international terrorism. The 4-day summit is attended by delegates from 54 African countries and representatives from the African Union. The meeting is aimed at expanding ties between India and African nations in various fields of mutual interest. India's trade with Africa has grown considerably in the last 15 years and stands at $72 billion in 2014-15. Majority of African exports to India consists of raw materials such as crude oil, gold, raw cotton and precious stones. Africa mainly imports from India high-end consumer goods such as automobiles, pharmaceuticals and telecom equipments.
Moving on to news from Maldives, efforts to move an impeachment motion against Vice President Ahmed Adib have begun in Maldives days after he was detained on suspicion of having links with an alleged assassination attempt against President Abdullah Yameen. A report.
Lawmakers of the ruling Progressive Party of the Maldives are collecting signatures to move an impeachment motion against Vice President Ahmed Adib. This comes just a day after President Yamin ruled out an immediate impeachment of Adib before a fair trial. Adib was taken into custody on Saturday over suspicion of having links to an explosion on Yamin's speedboat in which he escaped unhurt while his wife and 2 aides suffered minor injuries. The government claims the blast was an assassination attempt. The arrest of Adib is the latest in a series of political shakedowns in the country that has remained unstable since Yamin took power after a bitterly contested presidential election in 2013. Earlier this year, the country's first democratically elected president, Mohammad Nasheed, was also arrested over terror charges and was sentenced to 13 years in jail.
Indian government has said efforts are being made to extradite one of the country's most wanted gangsters, Chhota Rajan, from Indonesia. Rajan was arrested by Indonesian police from Bali last week.
India is hopeful that it will be able to secure the custody of Chhota Rajan, even though it does not have an extradition treaty with Indonesia. The two countries signed the extradition treaty in 2011, but Indonesia has not ratified it so far. But Indian Foreign Ministry officials say the underworld Don can be brought back even in the absence of the extradition treaty.
But we don't need to have a formal extradition treaty, as you know, for somebody to be sent to another country. There are various other means and arrangements in today's day and age in which people can be sent to the other country, and it's happened before.
Legal experts believe that Rajan is an important catch and can share vital information about the underworld network in Mumbai with the police.
एक तरह की उपलब्धि होती है जब हम किसी फ्यूजिटिव को पा लेते हैं। इससे पहले कुछ वर्ष पहले हम अबू सालिम को पुर्तगाल से लाने में सफल हुए, तो मुझे लगता है ये एक अच्छी बात है कि इंसाफ किया जाए और पेंडिंग केस उसका कोई निवाड़ा निकले।
Rajendra Sadashiv Nikalje, alias Chhota Rajan, was arrested by Indonesian police in coordination with Australian police on Sunday. The 55-year-old, who fled India in 1988, has been on the run for over 2 decades. Rajan has been on Interpol's wanted list since 1995 for running a crime syndicate that engaged in extortion, arms smuggling and contract killing.
People in Pakistan-administered Kashmir have been complaining for long about the crippling infrastructure that has hampered the development of the region. The successive local governments indulge in blame game while brushing aside their own failures.
Pakistan-administered Kashmir resembles a ghost region with infrastructure falling apart. Children in Pakistan-administered Kashmir face an uncertain future as the government-run schools are in shambles. And the hospitals are no better off, with beds either overcrowded or very few doctors in attendance. But the political parties find it most convenient to pass the buck to earlier governments for the region's present situation.
इसमें जो हमसे पहले गवर्नमेंट थी उसने इन अदारों पे टेंडर्स किए और उन्होंने एक गलत स्ट्रेटजी के तहत ये टेंडर जारी किया और उन्होंने एक पैकेज बनाया और पैकेज इस किस्म का नाकिस मंसूबा था, नाकिस पैकेज था कि अगर एक अदारा मुजफ्फराबाद शहर में बनता है तो दूसरा जाके अखमकाम में उसी बंदे को ठेका दे दिया, तीसरे को जाके कटकेरे में दे दिया, चौथे को जाके गुंदी ग्राम में चिनारी में दे दिया, लोहे के डिब्बे में दे दिया। तो that manageable.
Several infrastructure projects have remained stalled for years in most areas of Pakistan-administered Kashmir as a major chunk of funds is siphoned off by corrupt bureaucrats, claim people. But authorities always have the ready-made excuse of lack of funds, which they say is the reason for the poor development of the region. The federal government in Pakistan, which has control over the region's finances and resources, excuses itself by apportioning the blame on the local government.
Bangladesh police have detained 4 suspects in connection with the killing of an Italian aid worker last month. Police said the 4 were nabbed late on Sunday while the mastermind of attack has fled Bangladesh. A motorbike used as a getaway vehicle after the attack on Caesar Tevela has also been recovered by the police. Tevela, who worked in a faith-based Dutch charity, was shot dead near Dhaka's diplomatic zone. The murder of Tevela, followed by the killing of another Japanese citizen days later, had raised concerns over the security security of foreign nationals in the country. Even though the Islamic State had claimed responsibility of the two incidents, the government suspected the involvement of local militant groups behind the attacks. Chicken consumption in India is on the rise. It is estimated that the overall size of the Indian poultry industry, which is currently worth around $3.07 billion, will grow to $12.28 billion by 2020. A report.
Chicken products are flying off the shelves in India. This comes as tastes are changing. The perception among some is that chicken is more nutritious compared to vegetarian food. And industry experts say that younger consumers are increasingly attracted to non-vegetarian cuisines.
We don't think the number comes as a surprise, especially for us, considering the tectonic shift in the consumption patterns in India today. Most of the people consuming food, ordering food from outside are youngsters under the age of 30. And traditionally the traditional boundaries for these individuals don't exist.
Many people here prefer eating chicken in the form of nuggets, wings, sandwiches and wraps. And fast food joints and quick service restaurants have been developing menus to tickle the taste buds of consumers and help overall sales.
The past couple of years have not been great economically. There have been challenges from the consumer spending side. Consumer sentiment has been low. We certainly see that changing in the next few years. And it's really important for us as a QSR also to be prepared for this change. The supply chain infrastructure we have helps us to be in a position to leverage this change in trajectory that we are sure is going to happen.
As people's income here increase, consumption of protein and fat has been surging, and fast food giants may be in the best position to ride this wave. Nidhi Rai, South Asian Newsline, Mumbai.
Geeta, the deaf and mute Indian girl who was stranded in Pakistan for over a decade, is overwhelmed by the warm reception she got on arriving to her homeland. On Tuesday, she met Indian President Pranab Mukherjee.
Geeta was accompanied by the members of Aidi Foundation who looked after her during her stay in Pakistan as she met Indian President Pranab Mukherjee in the presidential palace. Earlier in the day, she had also met Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. On arrival, Geeta had also met Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj. Geeta reached India on Monday, ending her nearly 12 years exile in Pakistan. She had accidentally strayed into Pakistan when she was 11 years old. Since Geeta failed to recognize her family, which earlier she had identified from photographs, she will live in central Madhya Pradesh until her family is verified. Her story came to light after an Indian film with a similar plot released this July.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Search operations continue in quake-hit Afghanistan and Pakistan as death toll crosses 300. India and Africa can become engine of growth for world, says Finance Minister Jaitley. And India to press for custody of underworld don Chhota Rajan from Indonesia. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsianNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all we have in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.